A young girl of age 7 lived in Nepal with her father and 7 siblings. Her father had very little money and could not support her and a large family. He was forced to sell. The little girl was very upset. To make her feel better, the daddy lied to her and told her she was going to a great place and was going to feel better. She started to get very excited. A woman friend of the daddy came to pick up the girl and take her to the family she'd been sold to. They traveled 3 days until they finally arrived at their destination. When she arrived, the little girl noticed the house was old and dirty, and the little girl's excitement melted away. Suddenly, the little girl was pushed into a room all by herself. She noticed a window and looked outside. On the front stoop of the building, she saw 7 or 8 other little girls standing there. They all had sad and scared faces. Some of them were crying. The little girl backed away from the window and fell asleep on her bed. She woke up to an old woman putting makeup on her face. She was confused and worried. She wanted to see her daddy and sisters again. Then the woman brought a man into the room. He told her to take off her clothes, but she didn't want to. Then the man started to beat the little girl. Then the man and the woman left, and the little girl started to cry again. Suddenly, another little girl was pushed into the room. She told her what just happened, but they decided it was best not to tell anyone, because things would get even worse. The little girl could only resist for so long. Eventually, she had to do what they said. Then, the little girl had a baby of her own. The doctors at the hospital called the police. The little girl never saw her own baby.
People are always saying teenage love isn't real, or they set a limit on it. But it's more than real. It's raw and beautiful and fun. I know because I fell in love with the most beautiful boy I knew. He was a senior on the basketball team at my high school. I was just an awkward freshman with frizzy hair, yet he always made a point to talk to me. He said I made him laugh. Before I knew it, we were dating, and I was head over heels. It was 2 months when he asked me to go over to his house. I'd been over before, but his parents had always been home. This time, they weren't. The rule was, if his parents weren't over, I couldn't go over either. But he was begging and sad, and I trusted him. When we got to his house, it was quiet. That didn't set off any red flags. He also locked the door behind us. Still no alarms went off when they should have. When we got to his bedroom, I immediately felt his hand on the back of my neck, pinning me in place. The other was on my jaw, forcing me to come down. When I woke up, I realized someone was holding my hands and feet down. Someone was on top of me. I was being raped, but the drug in my system kept me too foggy to scream or even resist. I passed out again. When I woke up the next time, everything was clear. His friends were sitting around the room. He had a knife to my throat. He said that if I didn't come to his house every night at 2 a.m. for my job, he would harm or even kill my family. I stayed home once. The next morning, my sister woke up from her drugged sleep with a broken arm. For 2 years, I allowed myself to be raped in fear and shame. My only reprieve was when in my junior year, my parents decided to move. We're all safe now, but I'll always have my scars. Never again will I trust easily, if at all.
Who am I? Most of you probably don't know. Probably didn't even notice me in the crowd. If I were to tell you that you were sitting directly by a victim of sex trafficking, what would you say?